There was this woman, Linda, who acted like she owned the entire neighborhood. If a package sat on someone's porch for more than 5 minutes, she'd swoop in and claim it like it was her DIY right. I'd always suspected that any place where a bunch of self-appointed busybodies dictated who could have a welcome mat or what shade of beige your garage door had to be was a disaster waiting to happen. Still, the house was a steal, the area seemed peaceful, and I naively thought I could just keep to myself and live quietly. Boy, was I wrong. I hadn't factored in Linda the tyrant who strutted around like she was the sheriff, judge, and landlord all rolled into one. She knew exactly how often every neighbor mowed their lawn and shot death glares at anyone who dared park their car an inch off her invisible alignment rules. At first, it was just her irritating obsession with controlling everyone's lives. Little notes started popping up on my doorstep. Please retrieve your trash can within 15 minutes of pickup. Lawns should be trimmed the first Monday of each month. The HOA suggests front curtains match your home's exterior tone. Pointless, meddling rules that meant nothing to me but apparently were life-or-death issues for Linda. Then the packages started vanishing. I initially chalked it up to delivery mix-ups. Maybe a rookie driver dropped them at the wrong house, or someone grabbed them by accident. But after the third missing package, I knew something was up. I wasn't alone, either. When I vented in the neighborhood chat, the replies were odd. "Oh, that's been happening a lot lately," someone said. "Better keep an eye out, people are so careless." Another chimed in. "The packages don't disappear, they get relocated." Relocated? What did that even mean? Then a fed-up neighbor dropped the bombshell. "If you want your stuff back, check the HOA president's house." Linda's house. It clicked. She was the thief, and it explained why no one took the missing package complaints seriously. She brushed them off with excuses or hint that the owners were sloppy with their addresses. Naturally, the HOA never challenged her, but I wasn't about to let it slide. So, I set a trap. I ordered something cheap, a phone charger, and watched from my window. The second the delivery guy left it on my porch, Linda appeared. With a quick glance around, she strolled up like it was routine, snatched the package, and walked off. That confirmed Itch wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was a petty crook. The best part? She didn't even try to hide it. When I confronted her later that day, she put on an Oscar-worthy act. "Oh, your packages are disappearing. How awful. I've heard thieves are targeting parcels lately." Her smug pity, like she thought I was too dumb to suspect her, was infuriating. Without solid proof, though, I couldn't call the cops. I just looked paranoid. If she wanted to play games, I'd play smarter. I ordered something new from Amazon, but this time it wasn't a charger. I found an online supplier of live insects, exotic pests, to be exact, and picked the perfect revenge, a box of furious wasps. The night before, I prepped the scene. I set up a decoy package on my porch at sunrise, making sure Linda had a clear view, and waited. Around 3 p.m., she took the bait. Pretending to casually pass by, she eyed the box, checked her surroundings, and grabbed it. I let her get a few steps away before grinning to myself. It was only a matter of time now. Soon enough, a scream ripped through the air, short, sharp, and dripping with dread. Then came a second one, loud enough to wake the whole street. I rushed to the window and saw Linda stumbling backward, still clutching the box, her face a mask of terror. My plan had worked. Let's rewind to how I pulled it off. The previous night, tired of her nonsense, I'd scoured the internet's weird corners and found a site selling killer wasps, hunter wasps, to be precise. They're territorial, aggressive, and their stings hurt like hell. I called the supplier, spun a story about pest control, and had my special delivery the next day. Once it arrived, I left it on the porch and let Linda do the rest. Back to the chaos. There she was, trembling, the box buzzing ominously in her hands. She hesitated, then the lid burst open. The wasps erupted like a swarm of tiny demons, swirling around her in a fury. She dropped the box and bolted, but it was too late. One dive-bombed her face, another landed on her arm, and soon she was flailing down the street, chased by the relentless horde. Her screams turned primal as the first sting hit raw, guttural, like she'd been stabbed. Honestly, with those wasps, it probably felt like it. Neighbors peeked out, kids pointed and giggled, and then a second sting sent her crashing onto a lawn, swatting at herself in a panic. I couldn't hold back my laughter. Then her husband, Tom, ran outside, stared at his wife rolling around like she'd been electrocuted, and froze. When she shrieked, "Wasps!" He bolted back indoors without a word, Leah vying her to fend for herself. I nearly choked laughing. Linda staggered to her feet, still swatting, and made it to her porch. She shoved the door open, slipped inside, and slammed it shut, but not before some wasps followed her in. The muffled screams and crashing furniture from inside were pure music. The neighborhood watched in stunned silence while I savored every second. The woman who'd stolen from us all had finally grabbed the wrong package. It got better. Tom eventually crept back out, a towel over his face, and cracked the door. "I'm here to help," he yelled. From inside, Linda's voice roared back, "No. You left me." He froze, then slunk away, abandoning her again. The chaos continued, furniture toppling, doors banging like a tornado had hit her vying room. Those wasps weren't messing around. They hunt when threatened, and she'd unleashed their wrath. Then, in a grand finale, a window flew open, and Linda leaped out, tumbling onto the grass. Covered in welts, hair a mess, she knelt there, panting, radiating fury and defeat. The neighbors went quiet. The HOA was nowhere to be found. Tom was probably hiding. I was internally cheering like I'd hit the jackpot. But Linda wasn't done. She staggered up, locked eyes with me, and hissed, "I'm going to sue you." Classic move from someone who'd lost everything. "That was a weapon. You'll pay," she ranted, barely standing. Too bad for her. I'd played it clean. She stole my package. The wasps weren't lethal, just painful, and I had proof. I'd set up a security camera months ago when the theft started. She was caught on tape, plain as day. I pulled out my phone, played the video loud enough for the gawking neighbors to hear, and watched her face collapse. She'd screwed herself, and everyone knew it. Smirking, I said, "If you want to sue someone, start with yourself." She turned and limped back inside, humiliated and beaten. But I knew Lindash'd be back for more. 3 glorious days of peace followed. No prowling, no nagging, no notes. She'd vanished after the wasp fiasco. Then, on the 4th night, my camera pinged motion detected. There she was, sneaking onto my porch in black like a wannabe spy, carrying a bucket of something dark and slimy. Fish oil, I realized, as the stench hit. She planned to douse my porch. I could have confronted her, but why spoil the fun? Instead, I hit the camera's speaker. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." She yelped, dropped the bucket, and soaked herself in the reeking mess. Panicking, she smeared it worse, trying to wipe it off. I upped the ante. "By the way, the cops are 3 minutes out." She froze, then bolted, lipping in her own oil and face planting in the street. I was howling. She scrambled up, drenched and stinking, when barking echoed nearby. 3 neighbor dogs, noses high, charged toward the fishy scent. Linda sprinted, screaming as they bounded after her, thrilled by the chase. Neighbors watched, some filming, as she vanished into the night, Leah vying a trail of oil and shame. The next morning, the HOA emailed. Linda had resigned due to personal reasons. 2 weeks later, she moved out. No more missing packages. Total VY Tory. If you enjoyed this story, drop a comment and a like.